What's up there, Mr. K-Swiss?
Yeah, bright and cheery today. Trying to counteract the overcast skies here. We got a little thunderhead this morning, but hopefully back on the grass tomorrow evening. So
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I was out in the grass here in the desert this morning, bright and early. Well,
Nice.
not bright and early, but 8 o'clock. It was bright. Yeah, I guess it was early.
That's
But beautiful day here, man. We're gonna top 100 easy. I played a little bit with Owen this morning, and then I got to go see Dave Severson out at the PGA West at high noon. It's gonna be toasty. Out there today, but what the heck?
You doing a little work or what
Yeah,
are
I
you doing?
got the hard courts, national hard courts coming up next week in Irvine, so I'm back here in
Oh,
the
nice.
desert for a
Right.
few days of training just to try to get ready for that, and what the heck, 100 plus degree training weather is it's all right. It's all right.
Hey.
So hey, look, so I got an email today. If you're on Craig O'Shaughnessy's email list, he pumped out an email today, and he brought up the Joanna Konta stats. She's she's in the semis now, and the title, the subject of the email was like 3.8%. Who cares? And
Right.
it was. Have you seen the email that he sent?
I saw. I just read it quickly. I saw
Okay.
that. About the rally count.
Yeah, so he's saying with her, this tournament, that her rally count, I think 0 to 4, meaning both players, not just her.
Right.
0
Right.
to 4 rally length for her matches has been 72%, and I think the 5 to 9 has been, I guess, around 25 or 24%. And the
Right.
9 plus has been 3.8%. And
Right.
this is slow red clay. This is women's tennis, which arguably, which you could argue might have longer rally lengths than the guys. Maybe the
Right.
serves aren't as big. Maybe the forehands and backhands aren't as big. But still, she's taking charge of the point right from the get-go.
Right.
And so it just it continues to prove Craig's point, and it continues to prove our point that the 0 to 4 is where it's at, meaning that you've got to be able to get a good high percentage of first serves in play. They don't have to be bombers, because if they're
Right.
bombers, then you're going to have a low percentage of first serves going in. But a high percentage of first serves going in, and then you got to be able to take charge of the return to serve that comes back. And so
Yeah.
what I want to talk about today, Jeff, is what you and I were coaching one of our students last week, who's got a nice serve, but his idea of serve and stay back is to literally serve and stay on top of the baseline, if not a foot or two behind it. And
Right.
so what we encouraged him to do, and I showed him, I've got a video, an older Brian Cheney video, not that older, maybe I'd say 3 or 4 years ago. But I shot a video right on top of him over at the Racket Club of Irvine on their center court, and they've got a deck where you're literally on top of the court. So the angle, the camera, when he's serving, with his serve and stay back, is really
Right.
serve and end up about 3 feet inside the baseline.
Yeah.
And so I think there's two good things that happen when you do that. Number one, I think you improve the quality of your serve when you get the toss out in front a little bit, and you have to go forward, obviously without foot faulting, but you've got to go forward to get the toss, that you improve your serve. I think you get more power. I think you get a better quality spin.
Right.
But you end up inside the court, and now really what you're doing, if you're 3 feet inside the court after that serve, you're telling this guy, man, you better hit a dinger back here, because if you don't, I'm going to rob you of time.
Right.
And so I think we got to redefine what serve and stay back really means.
Right. Right.
So,
I,
And I saw that with Konta with her match with Sloane Stephens. She's hitting a good quality serve, but she's way inside the baseline after the serve. It's not serve volley.
Right. Yeah, it's serve and inflict pain.
It's
Right.
serve, and I think it's really it's certainly it's serve and show the threat of inflicting pain, because anytime you serve and you actually end up because your toss is so far out in front that you need to end up inside the baseline, that really what you're saying to the returner is, well, number one, you've got to return deep, and if you really return deep, and I'm pretty good with my volley technique, what's to say I can't just step forward and intercept it, rob you of time?
Right.
I'll play a transitional volley from back there. But really, the message is, I don't think you, Mr. Returner or Ms. Returner, can consistently put me in trouble if I end up 3 feet inside the baseline after my serve.
Right.
So
I think the idea to actually challenge your opponent to come up with answers, rather than be locked into your routine style of play, and kind of like, from both sides of the court, serving and returning, I think, you take a little bit more of like a boxer's mentality. You've got to do some physical damage, right? If you're the Joe Frazier, you're going body blows to get the guy to drop his hands, so then you can come in over the top. If you're an Ali, death by 1,000 cuts until the guy just can't hold his hands up anymore because you've bruised him so much, and flick that glove, and now his vision's blurred, and then you're just going to stick him, right? I mean, so I think in tennis there's so many different styles of play, but I think for those players that struggle with, the same guy all the time beating them, or just getting to that next level, or whatever it might be, I think, you really got to take a step back and understand the value in challenging your opponent's skill set and saying, what are you going to do with this, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to step in the court after my serve, and I'm going to start to punish the second ball. I'm just going to hit it heavy up the middle. I'm just going to make the first two balls a little faster and a little more uncomfortable than you'd like, but becomes very low risk for me and high tension for you if you're the guy on the other side of the net, right?
Right.
So I think the value in that is massive, and I think that's where mentally, a lot of players don't want to actually enter that arena. They don't understand that part of the game, that arena, because it's thoughtful. It's you have to see the subtlety that you're actually making headway by noticing your opponent. Is he starting to look a little frustrated? Is he starting to, normally this guy doesn't talk much on the court, but now he's starting to be verbal, right? Even under his breath. I'm starting to get under his skin a little bit here. Yeah. Let's keep pushing on that and see if we can get this guy to really get the wheels to come off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, I do think that I think that one way we can do that is with court positioning, right? Is that
right? Whether
you serve and end up 3 feet inside the baseline, or whether you return serve from wherever it is on top of the baseline, or maybe a foot or two behind it, but then you scoot up. And I think too often what happens is players hedge their bets on that one time when that opponent might play the ball deep and they end up too far behind the baseline, and now there's really no way that you can rob that opponent of time,
right?
Or sort of challenge them with your court positioning, basically saying, I'm here. Yeah, that's right. I'm a couple feet inside the baseline. Go ahead. If you can ding it here consistently, you probably can once or so, but I don't think that you can do it over and over and over again. And I think what happens is too many players think of serve and stay back. And I've seen players who serve and literally jump back through the service motion.
Right.
And I'm going, how is that going to give you any kind of power? How is that going to give you any kind of spin quality at all? And even if you don't literally jump back, if you just come straight down on top of the service line, you've
Right.
got no body weight, you got no forward momentum, and so I just think players too often are going, well, what do I have to do to hedge my bet against that one possibility?
Yeah. Right.
And I'm happy to take my chances a couple of feet inside the service line in terms of serve and stay back. Maybe a new definition of serve and stay in. I don't know.
Right.
Or stay.
Well, I think like Fed yesterday against Wawrinka. You know, he used the drop shot all day long, and you know he seemed fairly unconcerned whether it turned out to be in his favor or not. He just needed Stan to get out of the gate, use the explosive muscles, use that fuel, and make the move at the ball. And I think overall, that's where he kind of he gassed Wawrinka a little bit, just so he has that little edge, at the finish of the third and fourth set. So I think again, recognizing the value in not avoiding your opponent, but understanding that, listen, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a position here, and I want to make the guy just feel just a little bit uncomfortable, and I got to hit the ball a little better than I was hoping I'd have to. If I can get the guy to just hang in that area, he's going to hand me a lot of points, where I don't even have to touch the ball, just because he's going to miss it just wide, he's going to miss it just long, and I love that. I love, and there's a sensibility to it when you're playing that way, And I think there's a whole that getting over that hump to the next level in your game is understanding the as much as tennis is not a game of catch, it's a game of keep away to a certain extent. I think too much time it's played as a game of keep away, and I'm never really testing my opponent's skill set.
Yeah.
What does he like? What doesn't he like? Boy, this seems to irritate him.
Well, and I think one thing that the better players do, I'm going to say this for senior players, is I think they do a lot more challenging through their court position, through a little bit more aggressive court positioning,
Right.
than they do with just pure outright shot making. And I think there's way too much time. I mean, the stats that I brought up at the start of this thing clearly show that you don't need to be hanging way back behind the baseline looking to get into that 5+ or 9+ rally length, which means that you don't need to be practicing that. Really what you need to be practicing is, can you stand 2 feet inside the baseline when you're warming up or when you're rallying, and if you want to just hit the ball right up the middle of the court as a drill, but you're standing 2 feet inside the baseline, hey, that's a great thing to do, because now you start to realize that, wait a minute, well, most of the shots even from my practice partner where everything's relaxed are actually kind of short.
Right.
And so anyway, well, that's kind of the
well,
thought
I think that's players need to notice that, and that's we've suggested that players get out there and get somebody to chart a match, and simply you don't make it crazy, just simply have the person take a shot count.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Well,
come up with the reality of what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great stat is to either have someone chart it or video it and do your own charting.
And do your own charting, right?
But the other thing you could do is you could also put a dot every time you make contact with a ball. Where are you on the court?
Right.
And and we see these great graphics on Tennis Channel where they show, well, the average return thing is this line across there, and then the second set, whoa, it was like 2 feet in front. Well, that's obviously a conscious, strategic move, change. And I think most players, most senior guys, are going to go the opposite way. They're going to actually think, well, I need to buy more time for myself. Well, anytime you buy more time for yourself with your core position, then you're doing the same thing for your opponent as well.
Right.
So, all right, guys. Well, listen. Hope you got something out of today's Go Ball Hunting podcast episode. Jeffrey, I think we're still offering that free private 10-minute coaching call. Is that right?
Sure, why not?
Okay, all right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So the way to get on the call, again, it's free, it's private, it's 10 minutes, so you got to bring that one thing in your game right now that needs a solution. We are solution-based tennis professionals trying to help you become a solution-based player.
Yes.
So the way to get on that call is go over to goldballhunting.com, drop in a first name and email address, click the button, and you'll get access to our online calendar scheduler where you get to choose the time of day that works best for you. Jeffrey, at this point, what would we like to find folks to do?
Like us, share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below.
Outstanding. Guys, get out there today, wherever it is. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, we're going to do this again tomorrow.
I can't wait.
Okay.